Mexico! Yeah!
If you've seen Super Troopers, you know that feeling. That specific brand of stupid smart comedy that shouldn't work. But absolutely does.
Mother of God.
That kind of comedy is incredibly hard to get right. That's why almost every studio either rejected it or wanted to heavily change the original idea.
We just asked everybody in Hollywood, and they all said no.
And if Hollywood had gotten their way, we likely wouldn't have the classic we have today. So what exactly happened?
We were always trying to be the American Monty Python. That was our goal. Like they had 5 guys and they wrote their own movies and they were in them.
Broken Lizard, the comedy group behind the movie, was formed at Colgate University in 1989. 5 guys who started out doing sketch comedy together and over time developed the kind of chemistry that's hard to fake. The kind where you don't just know how to make each other laugh, but you know why something is funny and more importantly, how far to push it.
You son of a bitch!
In the 90s, they made 2 amateur films, The Tinfoil Monkey Agenda and Puddle Cruiser. If you go back and watch them, you can clearly see their comedic DNA, a bit of Woody Allen, sketch-driven scenes, and that dry satirical humor.
Ha ha ha. That's very funny.
They were far from masterpieces, but they did something important. They got them out of comedy clubs and proved at least to themselves that their comedy could actually work on screen. So they decided to go further.
We would find ourselves like 5 guys in a car driving to somebody's wedding, realizing that, you have so much bravado before the cop pulls you over, then once he pulls you over, you're just such a wimp.
Officer, isn't the speed limit 65?
The idea came from a simple question. What would it actually be like to be a local highway patrol cop with almost nothing to do?
Sing it again, rookie biatch.
It fit perfectly into the spirit of late 90s cinema, films that focused less on big dramatic events and more on the slow, ordinary working life. All 5 of them wrote it together and planned to play different cops. At its core, the concept is really an extension of what they already understood as comedians. On stage, a comedian has authority. They control the room, they set the pace, and the audience has no choice but to follow. Broken Lizard realized a cop on a highway works in a very similar way.
You smell something, Rabbit?
Fear.
When you're pulled over, you're a captive audience. You have nowhere to go, so in their world, the troopers became performers, and the highway became a stage. And it creates this strange line where the driver never quite knows whether to laugh or to be nervous, because the person doing the bit is still the one with the badge and the gun.
Littering and smoking the reefer.
And that idea became the backbone of the film. The actual plot is almost secondary to all of that. The premise is that a group of Vermont state troopers facing the threat of being shut down and absorbed by the local police. So they start making real arrests to justify their existence. But Broken Lizard didn't really write a traditional film. They basically wrote a framework for their comedy sketches to exist on screen.
License and registration? Chicken fucker?
What the movie is really about is the dynamic between these 5 guys. Each scene plays like a standalone bit, a setup between the troopers.
Do you want to do reaping?
The main joke.
Would you mind stepping down from there with your license and registration?
Sure, I was just kind of...
Would you mind stepping down from there with your license and registration?
And the final button to close it out.
You got a little distracted by somebody doing the repeater. Huh? That'll happen.
That will happen.
It's chaos, but structured chaos. And ironically, that's exactly why studios didn't want it.
We went to so many different people, and they were like, so, let me get this straight. You guys are the cops?
Everyone said the same thing. Too absurd, too unconventional, too gimmicky, and no star power. Studios could see the outline of something workable on the page, but the jokes simply didn't land. And in a way, that actually makes sense. Take the meow scene.
All right, meow.
Arguably the film's most iconic moment, where a trooper tries to say meow instead of now as many times as possible during a routine stop.
Meow, what is so damn funny?
I could have sworn you said meow.
Do I look like a cat to you, boy?
On paper, it doesn't really work. It feels strange and almost indulgent. Even in the film, when Farva has to have the joke explained to him, he's completely baffled.
I realize that doesn't sound funny as I describe it.
Who can say meow the most? You guys are real crazy.
Hey, look out for these guys!
And that's probably how a lot of studio executives felt when reading the script, because the jokes didn't really exist on the page. They only work when they were performed.
Where'd you learn that, Cheech? Drug school.
Shut up, Farmer.
And the clearest example of how badly the project was misunderstood came when one studio offered to greenlight the film on one condition. Ben Affleck had to play Jay's role, the character he wrote for himself. I mean, could you imagine this guy?
And then this failed experiment called existence will cease to be.
Playing this?
I am all that is man.
Then, just when it seemed like the film was dead, Jay got an unexpected call from an old friend.
My dad's a banker, and he's retiring, and he wants to write movie scripts. And you're the only guy who's sort of making movies, so I told him about you, and he wants to talk to you.
But before he handed it over, he needed to know he could trust the person reading it. So he asked to see Jake's work first.
And I'm like, I hope he doesn't like it, because I don't want to read his damn script, right?
However, a few days later, the investor called back saying,
Pretty funny. I'm like, yeah, thanks. He goes, what are you doing with it? I said, well, he's a banker. We're raising money. He goes, how much you need?
He ended putting in about $1.1 million, significantly less than what they've been asking from studios, but enough if they were disciplined about it. They had 28 days to shoot the entire film, not a day more.
Lock and load, Ramathorn, let's kick some tail.
Here's something that might surprise you about Super Troopers. It's actually an extremely tightly written film. That loose, absurd energy, the sense that anything could happen at any moment,
Everybody out of the car! I said now!
makes it feel improvised, like 5 friends just goofing around with a camera. But in reality, only about 8 lines in the entire film were improvised. Everything else was exactly as written, across 35 drafts, to make sure every joke landed in the right place.
Who wants a mustache ride?
They simply had no room for mistakes. Most of the extras were friends, family, or local volunteers. Among the professional actors was Jim Gaffigan, who played the driver in the Meow scene.
We're all standing on the side of the highway, and at some point he looks at me and said, you think I can get a coffee? And I was like, coffee? He's like, and like a chair to maybe sit down? This guy wants coffee and a chair. Like, where are we gonna find that stuff?
Daniel Von Bargen was cast as the strict, uptight police chief.
It's called routine police work.
Surprisingly, they even brought in Linda Carter, best known for playing Wonder Woman in the 70s, as the Vermont governor.
There will be no more running of marijuana.
And then there was Brian Cox,
These boys get that syrup in them. They get a little antsy in their pantsy.
classically trained Shakespearean and one of the most respected dramatic actors of his generation.
I'll believe that when my ship turns purple and smells like rainbow shopping.
He was actually looking to do something different and actively pursued the role of Captain O'Hagan. On set, he ended up becoming almost a father figure, both in the story and in real life.
And working with those guys 20-odd years ago to start with, and seeing how they've become rather respectable and sort of middle-aged, and they're no longer the potheads that they were. I think it's fantastic, like seeing your children grow up.
After putting all of this together and looking beyond the comedic surface, you start to realize just how special this film actually is. It was the right group of people, the right circumstances, and an uncompromising commitment to a personal vision, all coming together at exactly the right time. The group dynamic on screen feels so lived in and so specific that it could only come from people who have spent years together. There are enough layers in these 5 relationships for a full TV series, which is probably why a sequel exists and why a 3rd film is on the way. But beneath all the pranks and absurdism, there's something else that often gets overlooked. At some point, without really noticing it, you start caring about these people. And the film knows this. When Farva betrays the troopers by feeding information to the police in exchange for a job, it doesn't feel like just a plot twist. It feels like a personal stab in the back. And the scene that follows, where he breaks down in tears after being confronted, for a second carries an emotional weight that's surprisingly hard to ignore.
I'm a cop, goddammit! I got my own car now! I get to bust criminals! It's what I gotta do!
And the fact that the film's most affecting moment belongs to its most ridiculous character says everything about what Super Troopers really is. It was never just an absurd comedy. It just looked like one.
I'm all highway.